Hello, scientist. So today we're going to work on this idea. How do scientists know so much? So let's take a look at our target today. Our target today is I will learn how scientists know so much so that I can understand why scientists observe and ask questions. I will know I've got it when I can write at least 4 questions as I observe my hand. So let's take a look at that word in our target. I see it here. I also see it here. Observe. We talked about that word before. Observe just means that I'm going to look at something. I'm going to use my sense of sight and I'm going to look at something. And as I look at something, I'm going to be asking questions. So, how do scientists know so much? Would you think about that for a minute? How do scientists know so much? Do you think it's because they read things and they research things? Maybe they talk to other scientists? Do they just use their sense of sight and look at things and wonder about those things? What do scientists do to know so much? So just be thinking about that as we work today. So to get us started today, we are going to watch a video that comes from Mystery Science. How do scientists know so much? As you watch, think about this. What are the scientists doing so they can learn more? So in our video, and I'll be loading your video so you can watch it on the Mystery Science. So I'll share that link, but it will just look like this. How do scientists know so much? And then you'll just click and start watching the video. So I will share that with you in your classwork list. So after you watch the video, then I want you to go ahead and think about this word. So this is our new vocabulary word today, and it's probably a word that you've heard before. Maybe someone has said to you, "You are so curious." Or maybe you've heard the word curiosity. Curiosity just means to be curious. But what does curious mean? To wonder about something and ask questions. So I've been really curious lately at nighttime in the evening. I noticed the sunset. And one night I noticed it and the colors were kind of pink and maybe orangey, like a coral color. But then the next night, it looked similar, the same, but it was still different. And then the next night, it was raining, and I looked at the sunset again. And even though it was raining, there was still a sunset. So I was just very curious. Why is the sky different colors? Why does it look one way one day and a different way the next day? I was wondering and asking questions. Now, I might not have been saying them out loud, but I was thinking them in my head, and that's what scientists do. They see things, they observe things, and they just start wondering. And one question sometimes leads to another question. Same thing, I have some hummingbirds that have been living in the trees close to my house. And I've been observing them. I've been watching them. It started out that there was just one hummingbird, and I was so excited because I think they are the neatest little animals. And then it was almost like they told their hummingbird friends. And then the next couple days, then there were 2 hummingbirds. And then they were kind of fighting over the flowers, trying to get the nectar from the flowers. And I just observed them, watching them, wondering about them. I was so curious about them. Then, towards the end of the week, there were 3 hummingbirds. And like I said, it was almost like they were inviting their friends. Hey, here's a great smelling flower. Come get some of the nectar with me. It was just so cool. But every day I watched them, I was wondering more and more things about them. I was being curious. And that's what scientists do. So in the video, you might have noticed that there were two stories. And after you've watched it, I just want you to think, what did these two stories have in common? What did both scientists do that was similar? Do you think they were curious? Do you think they were wondering things? That's usually what scientists do. So today, we're going to do an activity called I Wonder. And you are going to listen to the directions you heard on the video of drawing and observing your hand. So if you need to go back to the video, that's fine. Go back to the video so that you can hear the directions of what to do. This challenge, the purpose of this challenge is for us to observe, wonder, and ask questions. So like I said, if you need to go back to the video, do that. Just go back a couple slides to the video. You can play it again so that you can hear what today's work will be. So in our science notebook, you are going to take and you're going to trace your hand. Now you're going to see that on my notebook here, I traced my hand, and then at the top I wrote the words, I wonder. So I have taken the notebook, and you can do it. It doesn't matter if the spiral's on this side or if it's on this side. You just want to trace your hand. So if I write with my right hand, then I'm going to have to trace my left hand. And you'll see where I did that. I just traced my left hand. If you write with your left hand, you'll want to trace your right hand because, of course, you're going to have to trace with the hand that you don't write with. So I just laid my hand on there. Lay your hand on there and then just trace around your hand. It's probably not going to be perfect. That's okay. Mine's not perfect either. So pause the video so you can do that and trace your hand. Now, if you go back to the video, as you work, just kind of back and forth, you want to write questions about your hand observation. You're going to want to get out your magnifier, and you're going to be just looking really closely at your hand. And then you're going to be writing down your wonder questions. So, one thing that I'm noticing, when I look at each one of my fingernails, they all look pretty much the same, except this finger. When I look at that nail, it's almost like it's got a red spot on the nail. And when I say the nail, I mean like right here on the nail. So I'm wondering, why is it different? Why does it look like that? So I would write down on that finger where that nail is, I would write down my question. And I would just want to count. So that would have been my third finger over. And I'm going to draw that nail, and I'm going to put that little spot. And you may see where I'm doing that. I'm going to put that little spot that I see under my nail and kind of draw what it looks like. It's a little bit, it's kind of long. And then I'm going to make a question. Why is this red spot? And it looks like it's under my nail, under my fingernail. And then that also makes me wonder, did it get hurt? Like, is that a bruise under my fingernail? And I'm just making a note here. Did it get hurt? And then I'm putting the word bruise because I'm thinking, did I hurt my finger and I just don't remember that? Then it kind of makes me wonder, how long has it been like that? And I just didn't notice because really, I can see it, but I don't see it very well until I look really close with my magnifier. That's when I notice it. I also notice there's a little bit of dirt under there too. Ooh, yuck. I need to work on getting that clean, don't I? So what I want you to do is I want you to work on writing your questions on your Wonder page. Now, our goal is that we want to write at least 4. But wow, I already wrote 3 just in the few minutes I was talking to you. So I want you to write down as many as you can, but of course you don't have all day. So let's write down at least 4, but no more than 10 so that we've got time to move on. So when we get to our Google Meet, we're going to discuss our hand drawings. Is there anything that we saw that was the same? Anything that we saw that was different? And what questions did you have about your hands? So we will share at our Google Meet. And I also want you to be thinking about this. We're going to share some of our observations we made about our hand and the question that we wrote down. How did observing, so we observed, remember we looked, we drew, and we wrote down our questions about our hand. But how did that help us as a scientist to learn more? How did that help us as a scientist to learn more? So definitely something that we want to be thinking about. How does observing and asking questions help us to learn more? And then, like I said, when we get to our Google Meet, you guys are going to share our awesome questions about your hand observations. I'm going to share those with me. Okay? So I will see you in just a little bit at our Google Meet.